Picture a driveway in any suburb in America. Sitting in it, gleaming under the morning sun, is a brand new truck. Lifted. Chrome everywhere. Almost $50,000 of raw American horsepower. And here's the thing about that truck. It has never once touched dirt. It has never towed anything heavier than a bag of groceries. Its four-wheel drive has never, ever been used. We have a name for that truck. The Pavement Princess. And the person who owns it is making an $800 payment every single month for the next 7 years. Here's the part that should stop you cold. That same $800 a month, if it just went somewhere else, would make that person a millionaire. Instead, it's quietly making them broke. And they have no idea it's happening because the whole thing was engineered to feel completely normal. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how the 84-month car loan quietly became the single biggest wealth killer for regular people in 2026. The trap, the real numbers, and the way out. My name is Jenna, and I spend way too much time obsessing over the everyday purchases that quietly decide whether you build wealth or stay broke. And no single purchase decides it faster or more brutally than the car sitting in your driveway. Hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up so the algorithm shows you the next one. Because this might be the one financial decision where the gap between what feels normal and what actually builds wealth is the absolute widest. Now, before we dive into the 84-month trap, you need to understand how we even got here. Because the 7-year car loan did not used to exist. Rewind to the 1990s. The standard car loan was 3 years. Maybe 4. You bought a car, you paid it off in 36 months, and then you enjoyed years with no car payment at all. That was just normal. But then car prices started climbing. And climbing. The average new car in America now costs over $49,000. Up more than 30% in just 5 years. And here's the problem the car industry had to solve. Almost nobody could afford the monthly payment on a $49,000 car over 3 years. The math simply didn't work anymore. So they didn't lower the price. They stretched the loan. For years became 5. 5 became 6. And now, in 2026, the 84-month loan, 7 full years, is the fastest-growing way Americans buy cars. Almost 23% of new car loans are now 84 months or longer. A record high. The dealer gets to keep the price high. You get a payment that feels survivable. And nobody says the quiet part out loud. So that's the setup. Now let's get into why this traps you. Number 1. The monthly payment illusion. This is the magic trick at the center of the whole thing. Here's how it works. When you walk into a dealership, they do not actually ask you what car you want. They ask you one question. What do you want your monthly payment to be? That question right there is the trap. Because the moment you're focused on the monthly payment, they can sell you a far more expensive car just by stretching the loan longer. Watch the numbers. A $42,000 car at 7% over 36 months is about $1,300 a month. Most people choke on that. So the dealer smiles and says, no problem, let's go 84 months. Now it's around $630 a month. Suddenly it feels affordable. You sign. But look at what just happened. You did not get a cheaper car. You got the exact same expensive car for twice as long, paying thousands more in interest. The monthly payment went down. The total cost went way up. That's the illusion. And it's exactly why the average new car payment in America is now over $800 a month, with almost 1 in 5 buyers paying over $1,000. Which leads straight to who exactly is falling for this. Number 2. The Pavement Princess. And this one is about identity, not transportation. Here's the truth almost nobody wants to say out loud. A huge chunk of these massive car payments are not about needing a vehicle. They're about needing to look a certain way. The lifted truck that never tows. The luxury SUV that only ever drives to school pickup and back. The car bought not to get you somewhere, but to tell everyone something about you. And the data backs this up completely. The buyers with payments over $1,000 a month are dominated by premium and pickup truck customers. These are not, by and large, contractors hauling equipment. These are people financing an image, an identity, a version of success that lives mostly in other people's driveways and other people's judgment. Here's the brutal part. Image is the single most expensive thing you can ever buy on credit. Because it depreciates the second you drive it home, and you keep paying for it for 7 long years after the feeling wore off. The consequence? You look successful and you are quietly, painfully broke. Which brings us to the trap that springs the moment you try to escape. Number 3. The negative equity spiral. This is where the trap quietly becomes a cage. Here's the core problem with an 84-month loan. Your car loses value far faster than you pay it down. A new car drops around 20% in value the moment you drive it off the lot, and it keeps falling from there. But on a 7-year loan, your early payments are mostly interest. So for years, you owe more on the car than the car is actually worth. That's called being underwater. Or upside down. And right now, it is an epidemic. Almost a third of all people trading in a car are underwater on it. The average amount they owe beyond the car's actual value just hit an all-time record. Over $7,000. And here is the spiral. When they go to trade that car in, the dealer says, "No problem at all, we'll just roll that $7,000 into your new loan." So now you are financing your new car, plus the leftover debt from your old car, stacked right on top of each other. People doing exactly this now have average payments of over $900 a month. You are not buying a car anymore. You are refinancing a mistake and adding a brand new one on top of it. No equity, no exit, no relief. Which brings us to the number that should genuinely scare you. Number 4. The real cost. Not the sticker price. The real one. When you buy a $42,000 car on an 84-month loan at 7%, you do not pay $42,000. With interest, you pay closer to $53,000. That's over $11,000 in interest alone, handed straight to a bank, just for the privilege of paying slowly. But that is not even the real cost. The real cost is what that money could have become. And here is the part that actually hurts. The average car payment is now about $800 a month. If you took that exact same $800 and invested it instead, every month at 8% over 30 years, it becomes roughly $1.1 million. $1.1 million. That is the real price tag on the Pavement Princess. Not $49,000. Not $53,000. Over $1 million in lost future wealth, traded away for a truck that never once sees a trail. The consequence of never understanding this is that you spend your entire life one car payment away from broke, and you never once connect the two. Which brings me to how you actually break the cycle. Number 5. The way out. And honestly, it's refreshingly simple. There is one rule that protects you from all of this. It's called the 20-4-10 rule. 20% down. Finance for no more than 4 years. And keep your total car costs under 10% of your income. If you cannot afford a car on those terms, then you cannot afford that car. Full stop. Not no car. A cheaper one. Here are the concrete moves. Move 1. Buy used, but not too used. A 2 to 3-year-old car has already taken its single biggest depreciation hit. The previous owner paid for that, not you. Move 2. Never, ever answer the "what monthly payment do you want" question. Talk only in total price, out the door. Move 3. Finance for 4 years maximum. If the 4-year payment is too high, the car is simply too expensive for you right now. Move 4. And then keep that car. Drive it for 10 years. Those years after the loan is paid off, with 0 car payment, that is when the real wealth actually gets built. Do this just once, and you free up hundreds of dollars a month for the rest of your life. Which is the entire point. Which brings me to the bigger lesson. Let me zoom out for a second. Because the car is really just the clearest example of a pattern that runs through absolutely everything. The wealthy and the broke buy fundamentally different things. The broke buy liabilities that look like success. A depreciating car. A closet full of barely worn clothes. The newest phone. Things that lose value the very second you own them, financed over years, paid off long after the dopamine faded. The wealthy buy assets that look boring. Index funds. A modest, paid-off car. Their own freedom. Things that gain value quietly while nobody is watching. Here's the math that says it all. That $800 a month Pavement Princess over 30 years is $1.1 million of lost wealth. But flip it around. A person who drives a reliable $10,000 used car, pays it off in 3 years, and invests the difference, ends up over $1 million richer than their neighbor with the shiny lifted truck. Same income, same street, wildly different lives. One financed an image. The other one quietly bought their freedom. That is the gap. It was never about how much they earned. It was about what they chose to drive and what they did with the difference. The rich drive their wealth quietly. The broke drive their brokenness loudly in a lifted truck for 84 months. The information gap is the wealth gap. And this time, it's parked right there in the driveway. Let me paint you a picture of what beating this actually feels like. It feels like the day you make your very last car payment, and then you just keep paying yourself that exact amount instead, straight into an investment account. It feels like driving a slightly older, perfectly nice, completely paid-off car right past the dealership and feeling absolutely nothing. No pull, no itch, just free. It feels like watching a coworker pull up in a brand new lifted truck, hearing them brag about the horsepower, and feeling a strange quiet calm instead of envy, because you can do the math that they can't. It feels like checking your investment account at the end of the year and watching the number climb by the exact amount your old self would have handed straight to a car dealer. It feels like finally realizing that the most powerful financial flex isn't the car sitting in your driveway. It's the freedom sitting in your bank account that nobody else can even see. And that mindset shift, honestly, from driving your image to building your freedom, is worth more than any truck ever could be. So, there you have it. The 84-month trap and how to never once fall into it. 1. The monthly payment is the illusion. They stretch the loan to hide the real price. 2. The pavement princess is an identity purchase, and image is the most expensive thing you can ever finance. 3. The negative equity spiral turns the trap into a cagey roll from one car into the next. 4. The real cost of an $800 payment isn't the car. It's the $1.1 million it could have become. 5. The way out is the 20-4-10 rule. Buy used, finance 4 years max, keep it for 10, and invest the difference. Hit subscribe so the algorithm shows you the next one. We're going to keep finding these traps and dismantling them together. Your future self is going to thank you for the decision you make today.